Pretty much all of the sentiment around Ethereum right now is bad. Some are going to point to the fact that Solana is crushing them in terms of meme coins and retail use. And then other people are talking about Vitalik selling off his Ether, possibly because he has a new girlfriend. But one thing that's a little bit more striking and that is irrefutable is that the Ethereum Foundation is selling. This is news that's been everywhere over the last couple of weeks, including at a big conference recently, Token 2049, that was in Singapore. And so it probably comes as no surprise that the ETH BTC pair is down. And that's probably for a few different reasons, but certainly the news that the Ethereum Foundation is selling doesn't help. But does the fact that the Ethereum Foundation is selling some of its Ethereum actually matter? If it does matter, how much? How little? Does it have an impact on the short term? On the long term? We go over the potential implications today. We're going to study what the Ethereum Foundation has been doing, and we'll answer the question whether or not you should be mimicking them. Are they an example right now of what the smart money is up to? Welcome to the channel. My name is Maddie and this is Altcoin Buzz. All the best of luck if you choose to invest. I wish you very, very well. Just remember, I'm not a financial or investment advisor, and that means by extension, this video is not official financial or investment advice. UPTOBER for crypto is coming up very quickly, and we have the best deal for you. A 12-month Altcoin Buzz Alpha subscription for only $100. Which represents a massive 40% discount by paying with crypto. No wallet connection or KYC, know your customer, is required. And what you get with an Altcoin Buzz subscription is over 70 calls per month, 1 to 2 gem calls per month, buy and sell calls, about 10 per month, alphas and alerts, at least 15 per month, 10 portfolio updates per month, 10 strategy ideas per month, 2 IDO picks per month, 4 airdrops per month, and 15 to 20 Q&A sessions per month. All you have to do is click on the payment link to join Discord. You can find that in the description below. Then connect your Discord, choose the yearly plan, click Buy Now, and enter the code UPTOBER. That's UPTOBER. Then all you have to do is pay with USDT on either BEP20 or Polygon. This offer is only valid until midnight on the 28th of September, so once again, check out the link in the description below. Let's first talk about the ETH Foundation's budget. The EF, I'm going to abbreviate with that acronym, their annual budget is $100 million per year. This includes paying salaries, marketing, and extensive grant programs. And that money has to come from somewhere. The 2022 annual report was the most recent publicly available online, and according to that document, they had, at that time, $1.6 billion in the foundation treasury. And of that, we have 80%, or $1.2 billion, which was in ETH. And one of the biggest and best uses of funds that the EF has is its grants program. In Q2 of 2024, for example, the foundation gave $8.4 million away to over 75 different projects, really across all areas of the Ethereum ecosystem. This includes everything from regional ETH hubs and communities to educational projects to improving technologies like privacy on ETH. The EF also supports bug bounties, tech improvements, and funding and implementation of different EIPs, like this one on EIP 4844. 4844 is the proto-dank sharding improvement, allowing the creation of blobs and really better scalability overall. And while we may not like to hear this kind of news, the fact that the Ethereum Foundation is selling its Ether isn't anything new. Now, it actually may surprise you to learn that fact, but the ETH Foundation has been selling really all along. Here is some evidence that we see of EF sales going back from 2020, also including 2021. And it would now appear that they're selling on a weekly basis to fund operations. And as you might expect here, there are some concerns that have emerged, not just from ETH holders, by the way. Like XRP with its regular programmed quarterly sales, the EF is certainly getting at least some attention that they'd like to avoid. And I'm talking about here from the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. They're giving ETH a pretty hard look, even though it's been classified already as a commodity. Regular sales like this don't help the argument that it's not a security, because these sales, of course, help the SEC make its argument that the so-called common enterprise or reliance on others, part of the Howey test, could invalidate ETH's current status. And that, of course, would create many, many problems for ETH in the US if that were to happen. And here's just one example, anecdotally, of a commenter on X. But the fact of the matter is that many people, many Ethereum fans hold similar points of view. and actually see the EF as an obstacle for Ethereum. A lot of people are starting to see the foundation as keeping ETH from reaching the greatness, if you will, that it otherwise would.
And so if this market pulls back hard under this level and then consolidates and comes back, we're likely to sell and stall.
So is it bullish for Ethereum or bearish? Is this just typical behavior from the EF, or is it a little bit more concerning than that and more troubling? Well, in our opinion, there are both bullish and bearish elements. We'll outline the case for each scenario here. Let's start with the bull case. This one's pretty easy to understand. While the ETH Foundation is selling, they still have huge holdings in Ether and are committed to Ethereum's success. The price of ETH actually over the last month, despite all of this activity, is up a couple of percentage points. Nothing crazy, it's just a marginal gain, but still not down despite all that negative news. And we also have to remember that ETH is still the first mover when it comes to building dApps, especially when it comes to DeFi and NFTs. And don't forget that ETH still benefits from fees for all the layer 2s that use it for its security and finality of transactions. Some of the uses for the ETH Foundation sales include a solid grant program to keep ETH and EVM growing. That's not a bad thing. And so if you believe in the ETH Foundation and consensus and how they're managing ETH, then you're probably okay with what's going on. Okay, but on the flip side, let's also consider the bear case here. The foundation sales are not just a one-time thing, not even an occasional thing. They're pretty regular and they've been consistent. Not as regular, arguably, as XRP's quarterly sales, but the Ethereum Foundation has been selling for years. And if anything, they're doing it with less transparency, actually, than XRP does. We only know that they're selling when on-chain researchers show the activity from wallets marked to the ETH Foundation. At least, you could argue XRP, by contrast, is telling you what they're going to do and when. And so between the foundation, consensus, and control of validators by liquid staking protocols like Lido and Coinbase staking, there are actually lots of ways to argue Ethereum is becoming a lot more centralized. And look, you may agree, you may not, and decentralization may not even be all that important to you in the first place. That's possible. But that does seem to be the trend. There is an increase towards centralization right now for ETH. You can just look at its Nakamoto coefficient as a project if you don't believe me. So there you have it. It's a little more nuanced, perhaps, than some of the headlines would suggest. I'm curious to know what you think. Is the ETH Foundation bullish or bearish in terms of its activities? What does that reflect? Maybe it's neither to you, and we're just making a mountain out of a molehill here. Maybe this whole thing can be ignored. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below.